Admiral Zara Chen stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, her hands clasped behind her back as she gazed through the massive viewport at the swirling nebula ahead. The ship's sensors had detected the distress signal 3 hours ago, a faint, desperate plea for help from a civilian transport vessel stranded in the Kepler expanse. What should have been a routine rescue mission for a shuttle had turned into something far more complex. "Admiral, we're receiving another transmission," reported Lieutenant Commander Hayes from the communications station. His voice carried an edge of concern that made Chen's jaw tighten. "Put it through," she ordered, her dark eyes never leaving the cosmic display before them. A crackling, static-filled voice filled the bridge. "This is Captain Rodriguez of the merchant vessel Stellar Dawn. We are under attack by unknown hostiles. Our engines are disabled, life support failing. Please, whoever receives this, we have civilians aboard, including children. We need immediately." The transmission cut to silence. Chen turned sharply toward her tactical officer. "Commander Sterling, what do our long-range sensors show?" The grizzled veteran's fingers danced across his console, his cybernetic eye glowing as it interfaced directly with the ship's systems. "3 vessels, Admiral. Configuration unknown, but they're massive, each one roughly the size of a dreadnought. They've got the Stellar Dawn trapped in a tractor beam." "Sir," interrupted Ensign Park from the navigation station, "the merchant vessel sent out a general distress call requesting shuttle assistance for evacuation. They have no idea what's coming their way." Chen allowed herself a thin smile. The Prometheus was no ordinary rescue vessel. Commissioned in secret 5 years ago, it was Earth's most advanced warship, a technological marvel that combined the latest in quantum drive technology, adaptive armor plating, and weapons systems that could level entire space stations. The ship had been designed for one purpose: to protect humanity's expanding colonies from threats the public wasn't ready to know about. "How long until we reach their position?" Chen asked. 18 minutes at current speed," replied Park. "Take us to battle stations, but maintain communications silence," Chen commanded. "I want to see what we're dealing with before we announce our presence." The bridge transformed as the crew moved with practiced efficiency. Red lights bathed the command center, and the hum of charging weapons systems vibrated through the deck plates. Chen had handpicked every member of this crew, veterans of the outer colony conflicts, specialists in xenobiology, and the finest engineers the Solar Navy had to offer. As they approached the coordinates, the main screen resolved into a clear tactical display. The Stellar Dawn hung motionless in space, its hull scarred and venting atmosphere. The 3 attacking vessels were unlike anything in Earth's databases, organic-looking structures that seemed to pulse with bioluminescent patterns along their hulls. "Admiral," Sterling's voice was grim, "I'm reading life signs aboard the merchant vessel, but they're fading fast. The unknown ships are scanning the Stellar Dawn with some kind of energy beam." "They're not destroying it," observed Dr. Sarah Kim, the ship's xenobiologist, as she studied the data from her science station. "They're harvesting something." Chen's blood ran cold. She had encountered reports of this before, civilizations that had simply vanished, leaving behind empty ships and deserted colonies. The pattern was always the same: sophisticated scans, followed by the complete disappearance of all organic life. "Commander Hayes, open a channel to the lead vessel," Chen ordered. "Channel open, Admiral." Chen stepped forward, her voice carrying the authority of someone who had spent 20 years defending humanity's expansion into the stars. "Unknown vessels, you are interfering with a civilian transport under the protection of Earth's Solar Navy. Withdraw immediately and release the Stellar Dawn." The response came in the form of a telepathic assault that sent several bridge crew members staggering. Images flooded their minds: vast hive cities, consuming entire worlds, organic technology that grew rather than being built, and an intelligence that viewed other species as nothing more than raw material. "They call themselves the Synthesis," Dr. Kim gasped, her face pale as she recovered from the mental contact. "They've been moving through this sector for months, absorbing the biological essence of every species they encounter." "Well," Chen said, straightening her uniform, "they picked the wrong ship to threaten today. Sterling, target their lead vessel. Full spread of quantum torpedoes." "Admiral, are you sure? We don't know what their capabilities." "Commander, those are human lives over there. We didn't build the Prometheus to run from a fight." The tactical officer's hands moved across his controls. Torpedoes armed and ready. Fire. The Prometheus unleashed its fury. Streams of coherent energy lanced out from its weapon ports, followed by a spread of quantum torpedoes that tore through space-time itself. The lead synthesis vessel's organic hull rippled and writhed as the weapons found their mark, but instead of exploding, it began to adapt, its surface hardening and changing color. "They're evolving their defenses in real time," Dr. Kim reported, her voice filled with scientific fascination and terror. "Admiral, conventional weapons may not be enough." Chen nodded grimly. She had hoped it wouldn't come to this. "Sterling, activate the Prometheus protocol." Every person on the bridge turned to stare at her. The Prometheus protocol was theoretical, a weapons system so dangerous that it had never been tested in combat. "Admiral," Sterling's voice was barely a whisper, "the energy requirements alone could." "I'm aware of the risks, Commander." "Execute the protocol." Deep within the ship's core, exotic matter began to spiral into controlled fusion. The Prometheus had been built around a contained singularity, a miniature black hole that served as both power source and ultimate weapon. As the protocol engaged, the ship began to draw energy directly from the event horizon, channeling forces that existed at the very edge of physics. The attacking vessels seemed to sense the change. Their bioluminescent patterns shifted to violent reds and oranges as they abandoned their prize and turned toward the Prometheus. "Here they come," Sterling announced unnecessarily. Everyone could see the three massive ships accelerating toward them, their surfaces bristling with weapons that defied classification. "Steady," Chen commanded. "Let them get closer." The synthesis vessels opened fire with beams of crackling energy that seemed to bend space around them. The Prometheus's shields flared and held, but Chen could see the strain readings climbing toward critical levels. "Protocol at 90% charge," Sterling reported. "Not yet," Chen said, watching as the enemy ships closed to point-blank range. She could see details now writhing tentacles along their hulls, eye-like structures that tracked the Prometheus's movements, and what looked like launch bays opening to release smaller organic fighters. Protocol ready. Fire. Reality seemed to pause. Then, a beam of pure gravitational force erupted from the Prometheus, creating a temporary rift in space-time that connected the ship's position to the heart of the lead synthesis vessel. For a moment, the alien ship was turned inside out, its organic structure unable to adapt to the fundamental forces being directed against it. The vessel collapsed into itself and vanished. The remaining two ships hesitated, the first sign of uncertainty they had shown. In that moment of pause, Chen struck again. Two more gravitational lances reached out, and the synthesis vessels joined their companion in oblivion. As the exotic energies dissipated, the bridge crew slowly exhaled. The stellar dawn still hung in space, damaged but intact. "Admiral," Hayes reported, "we're receiving a transmission from the merchant vessel." "Thank you," came Captain Rodriguez's voice, heavy with emotion. "We saw what happened. That was no shuttle that saved us." Chen smiled as she looked out at the stars, knowing that somewhere in the depths of space, other threats were watching, waiting, but Earth's colonies would not fall easily. "No, Captain," she replied. "It wasn't."